As the humanitarian crisis in Gaza intensifies, Canadian families are urgently calling on their government to evacuate their extended family members from the war zone. Faiza Amin is tracking this story for us today. Faiza, what are you hearing?
Well, Melissa, I've spoken with at least 3 different families in and around the GTA, and they all describe this as a dire situation happening in Gaza. They spend every waking moment concerned for their loved ones who are in the region. Many of them have been displaced. Human rights groups have described this as a humanitarian crisis as the death toll continues to rise in Gaza. Canadian families calling on the Canadian government to urgently put in place special immigration measures, saying this would be a similar policy that was put in place in other crisis situations, including Ukraine and Afghanistan. The Canadian government says it's providing assistance to Canadians, permanent residents and eligible family members. And currently, eligible family members includes spouse or common law partners of Canadian citizens or permanent residents and dependents under 22 years of age. But Canadian families want this definition extended and include parents, siblings, grandparents, nieces, and nephews to be able to come to Canada who are currently living in Gaza. Here's more from a family I spoke with.
That was actually my uncle that just called me. I haven't talked to him in 3 days. I've been messaging him. I've been getting 1 text on WhatsApp, and so we've been really worried about what their situation is. And so they called today saying, okay, we're safe right now. You know, we'll be in touch with you soon. And so even that, like, you know, less than a minute, 60-second phone call can help give us ease here, knowing that our family is at least okay for 1 more day, 1 more hour. It's incredibly hard because we feel like we can't do anything to protect them.
They have been moving from a place to another. Like they are almost moved 15 times, trying to survive the bombing around them. Yeah, and they are not safe still. The problem that there is no safe place in Gaza now.
So just last week, the Ontario NDP called for unanimous consent for the House to call on the federal government to put in place special immigration measures. Here's the leader of the Ontario NDP.
To facilitate the evacuation and reunification of extended family members of Canadian citizens and permanent residents from Gaza.
And one of the individuals you just heard from, Noura, that we spoke with moments before we interviewed her, her uncle actually called her, and she also talks about the difficulty it takes for families here in Canada to be able to get a hold of their loved ones in Gaza to make sure they are okay. Sometimes it takes them days to get in touch. They say that they've also reached out to government officials, including the Prime Minister's office, calling for help, but they say they have not received any responses. Melissa.
And certainly an important reminder there, Faiza, that what's happening in the Middle East hits home for so many here. Okay, we'll look forward to your story tonight on City News 5 and 6. Faiza Amin, thanks for that.